A small update on my fire horn. He got ick about a few days ago. I'm on the second day of treatment. When I wake up later, I'm going to do a 25% water change on the tank, and then add the last batch of ick cure in there. And he's looking a lot better. There's still like one or two dots of ick still on him, but he's definitely he's the ick treatment is definitely doing the trick. And that's the main reason why the tank's a lot more cloudier than normal, is due to the ick treatment. At least it's doing its job. One of the very few things that fish get that I can actually more or less get rid of without any problems or worries. The angel spawn is doing fine for the most part. We got some white duds, but fungus is so far staying away from both sides. They're caring for theirs, and I'm just watching mine. Basically, I split the duties in half. One for me, half for me, and half for them. Technically, I have more, but at least fungus isn't growing like last time. So one of these two is going to have viables, but who knows? Oh yeah, and I thought I'd show this off for a little bit. This is actually pretty amazing to see how aggressive these little guys are. Put my finger in here, the female will somewhat go after me, but when I get close, well, she's not doing as much as she used to. Of course, it is her protecting her eggs, but which is really pathetic is that the male doesn't do it. It's only the female that does this. The male will go for me every now and then, but the female is the one that really goes after me. Boy, I'm happy these guys aren't as big as the flower horn I have will get. Because if this was a flower horn doing this, I would most likely be, there will most likely be blood in the tank. Touch. You missed horribly. Touch. Believe it or not, the first time I actually did this, I didn't even do it on purpose. And this was like the last batch, and both of them were going after my finger every single time. Second go around, they're not going after me as much. So they're definitely understanding that I'm not going to do anything to their eggs other than just take them when I think they're going to be stupid. Like I did this time, because like I said, they actually put the eggs initially right in here, so a whole bunch of them are getting sucked into the freaking filter. Which hence is their name, useless and worthless. And of course, like I said, just because I give them those names doesn't mean I don't love them. They're still my pair of angelfish, even though they're completely useless and worthless. I'm still keeping them because I want to give them a chance, and personally, they're big and they're beautiful for me at least. So with that said, I'm going to come back most likely when I have in probably about a day or so when the eggs are supposed to supposedly hatch. Hopefully I'll have some free swimmers. Oh yeah, and I forgot to add one other thing. This little 5.5 gallon tank, if I have fry that's viable, I'm going to be moving Mr. Betta out of here, cleaning out all the algae, doing a water change, doing probably like a 60% water change, fill it and with fresh water and whatnot, and then I'll be putting the fry into this tank. I'll be moving him into another tank. This will be the tank I'll be moving him into. It's got lots of hidey holes. It's only got one angelfish, got a red tail, and 2 red eyes. I've had bettas in this tank in the past, and I'm going to do it once again. And of course, I will be monitoring this tank, but I've had, like I said, I've had beds in the past with success in this tank. I just decided to move them to a different tank because I just wanted to. But like I said, the bed he'll be most likely going to this tank here. And I'm also building another computer. This one that's going to be specific for uploading to the fish channel and whatnot. Basically, long story short, this is an old laptop from 2006. It has all the power I need to upload simple 1080p videos to YouTube. And I'm just building a case for it and whatnot. That way so it won't be so ugly behind my TV. I still got to more or less extend the wires for this thing, for the audio jacks. There's a little indicator strip that goes right here for power, hard drive and whatnot. I have the USB ports here. On and off switch will be right around here or so, towards the front. I have a DVD drive inside it. I believe this is the Bluetooth. Here's the CPU GPU cooler, power, and right here in the back are all the ports that basically I need. I'll go through the ports, AES, S-Video, VGA, some proprietary Ethernet, dial-up, HDMI, two USB 2.0 ports, FireWire, I believe, and a card reader. So yeah, this thing's old, but all I really need is just the two USBs, HDMI, and Ethernet. I'm not going to be using any of the other ports, but it's nice to have them if I need to. But yeah, I'm basically just modifying an old laptop. So with that said, next part of this video will be either this thing completed or my angels with if the fry are viable or not. So it's now the next day, and I've actually noticed I got a few eggs that are moving ever so slightly. So like I was saying, I got a few that are moving, so I'm pretty sure I got a few that are good. I'm already looking at a few that have gone dead. I'm taking a look and I got quite a few clear ones. So I believe those ones are good and viable, though I'm not sure, but I have noticed a few are actually moving around. So that's a good thing. Open, there goes one of the eggs. Well, that sucks. Bye, egg. As you can tell, there's no more angels in this tank, and I've rearranged it to an extent. I've pretty much just reattached the intake to the filter. I've also turned off the filter, and I have the bubbler going in at full max to help with circulation. So hopefully in the next few hours I'll see what happens. And this is a temporary setup. They're in a little 5.5. I will say this, they look incredibly cool in this tank, but this is completely wrong for them. But with that said, this is a temporary setup until I figure out if the fry in this tank are viable or not. They're going to stay in here for at least a day or two, and then I'm going to move these two back into this tank when I get fry, and then I'll move the fry into this tank. I really don't have any other tanks I can put these guys into, so I just moved the bed that I was in here, put my bed into another tank I know he'll be fine in for a few days, and I put them in here to temporarily hold them. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but I actually have viable fry. You can already see I got two right there just hanging out. Got another one swimming there too. So at the very least, I have 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6. Let's see, is there any more I can see on my video? At least 6 viable angel fry, which is really cool. Oh, I think those, nope, they're right there. Okay, good. I thought they got detached already. I don't think they're ready to be free swimmers yet. I think I'm going to turn down the air stone that way so they don't get accidentally knocked off until not until they're ready. And of course, useless and worthless. They're still in their little temporary tank. Believe it or not, they're doing just fine. Other than them being in a small tank, they're perfectly normal. They're still useless as hell. Well, actually, not really useless anymore because I actually have viable fry from them, and the male wasn't shooting blanks. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to let that fry stay in that tank for about 2, maybe 3 days where they're free swimming. And once they're free swimming and I know they're viable, I'm going to plop them into this 5.5. And then I'm going to put these two back into the 10-gallon. Well, like I said previously, these two look incredibly cool in this small tank. But it's totally not what I should do for these guys long term. And like I said, this is only temporary until I can get the fry figured out, which should be, like I said, about 2 days or so. 2-3 days, give or take. Alright, got a quick video from my Facebook page and maybe YouTube if I decide to upload this to my second channel. So apparently, there we go. I have viable angel fry for the first time. Well, actually, no, this is now the second time I've had viable fry. As you can tell, I got some wigglers. They're not free swimming. They're going to be free swimming in about 2 days. So tomorrow, I'm going to go out and get some brine shrimp and get a brine shrimp factory up and running. That way so I can actually feed these guys. But for right now, from what I could tell, about like 6 or so viable fry, which I'm very happy to see from my pair of useless and worthless. So hopefully I can raise these things up. No promise because this is the first time I've done this, and I still don't trust myself completely. So if I can somehow properly grow these angels out, I'll be amazed. But with that said, don't put any don't expect much. My cat is also trying to be very annoying when I'm recording this video, as you can tell. So what have I done with the angel pair? Well, I know someone's going to give me flack for this, but this is temporary. Putting it out here right now. This is temporary. They're currently in a 5.5. I will admit they are incredibly cool looking inside this small tank. But this is totally wrong. It's the only thing I could do since this is only temporary. Since it's temporary, it's just fine. They're going to be in here for about 2 days or so, 3 days max. That way so I can read up properly on the angel fry, figure out how exactly I need to pull them out of the tank without killing them, and then put them into this tank, and of course put these two back in their 10-gallon. This tank initially had a betta in it. That betta is in another tank. He's doing just fine. These two are eating, and they're acting exactly normal. Other than them being a smaller tank than they should be, they're acting exactly the same. Though I've really noticed that these two always hang by this side of the tank, looking at the tank they were originally in, because they know their children are in that tank. So they kind of hate me for moving them. But if they weren't going to eat their eggs like they usually do, I would actually keep them in there. Hence the name useless and worthless. Alright, for viewing purposes, I actually put the fry, well actually I'm doing this for both so I can show them off and actually move them. So here I have about 3 to 4 living fry in this little betta container. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and put this whole cluster, as you can tell there's another one right there, more or less somewhat free swimming. I'm going to put this whole thing into that little 5.5 gallon tank. I already moved the angels back into their own tank. So I'm going to put these 2 into that tank, and 3 or whatever, and see what happens. Hopefully they're going to make it. Don't know yet. This is, like I said, this is my first time. Don't put any trust in me when it comes to this. And here they are in the tank. I'm going to let this sit for about a few minutes, and then I'm going to just plop them in there and then just hope for the best. And of course, useless and worthless are now back in their tank. Ooh. Is that free hanging right there, or is that just algae? Alright, so I'm actually cutting in. I was initially going to upload this video in full, but since it's going to be nearly a 30-minute long video, I'm just going to basically delete everything from this video onwards, and then just make a simple recap of what's going on in here. Or just mainly just update, or just mainly just make it a lot more shorter. Because Lord knows I don't want to have a 30-minute video about my fish on YouTube unless it's something big or whatever. So I have a new face in this tank. These are my 2 current angels. This is my newest angel. He's a black marble. He's been in this tank now for about 12 hours or so. Other than the initial picking going on from the angels is set to get the hierarchy set up, everything's great. Hi-Tat left everyone alone. I noticed Hi-Tat was always hanging right next to the angels as they were checking out the new addition to the tank. But Hi-Tat left them all alone. He's one of my more timid, calm bettas, which is real nice. Especially considering that angel's way bigger than my betta. Speaking of Hi-Tat, he is most likely hiding behind the filter. He does that every now and then. And there might be a little bit of some pecking going on with the pecking order still. It's only been like 12 hours. But yeah. But everything's doing just fine. I also figured out what happened to my shrimp here. Apparently they climbed out of the tank and died. So what I learned from this, don't buy shrimp ever again. But my little elfin here has his tank all to himself. He still goes after his reflection after a year, after already having him for a week. Jeez. Special betta, special. White Knight's doing just fine. My goldfish are doing just fine. The tank light's off. My flower horn is doing great, though he's in a mini freak out mode. He has one more bit of ick on him, if he'll stop freaking out. There it is. So yeah, it's like 1 or 2 dots of ick left on him. And there's all sorts of crap in the tank, so I'm going to clean off the glass and then do a wire change and then put these filters in and have them going at full max. Because I have no idea what this crap is and I want to get it out of the tank. I think it's dead ick. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a wire change to about here or so to really drain this tank down and get a nice new fresh water. Also, this guy is 100% ick free. And for those that are wondering what ick crap I'm using this to cure the ick. This stuff does the trick. I still have no idea why my flower horn's in a mini freak out though. But really not much happened. I mean, everyone's doing just fine. And so far I haven't noticed any fries swimming around in that little 5.5 yet. If I see anything, of course I'll put a whole separate video up about that. But don't put your hopes up because I've yet to be lucky with angel fry. I really should try spawning betas though. Then again, I don't want 300 something fry to take care of. Ugh.